Cotton cola.
Hey everyone, so this is my review of The Post, which was the third movie in a row which I saw at the theater last Saturday. And this movie is directed by Steven Spielberg and stars Tom Hanks, Meryl Streep, Bob Odenkirk, Bradley Whitford, Jesse Plemons, who you know as Todd as Breaking Bad, and Bob Odenkirk is Saul from Breaking Bad, and like a whole there are so many really good actors in this movie. Sarah Paulson, Carrie, Coon, Allison Brie, and yeah, there are just too many good and sort of well-known actors to count. This movie is based on a true story about how the Washington Post somehow acquired all these secret papers from the Pentagon that was detailing a scandal involving the Vietnam War, spanning back to four presidencies. The I believe the Eisenhower, Kennedy, Johnson, and the president before Eisenhower. I really I should know that, but my brain is not working right now. So basically the Post requires all these secret government papers, and they have the people there have to decide whether to publish these papers or not. So this movie's pretty good. It's not as good as I was hoping it would be, considering it's a Spielberg movie starring Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep, two of the best actors still working today. But it is pretty good. I don't really have that many flaws with this movie. I guess I'll just get the flaws out of the way because there aren't that many. This movie, it does take a while for me to care. The entire first act of this movie, I just didn't really care that much, and I didn't really like. I was, like kind of, getting anxious to get to the, good stuff, I guess. But once the second act starts, and once they do acquire these papers, it does start to really pick up. But that first act was just kind of slow, and the editing in this movie, not bad, the editing in this movie wasn't the best that it could be, which was kind of a shame because usually Spielberg movies are wonderfully edited. Something that this movie is, though, is wonderfully directed and filmed. The cinematography is great, and like watching this movie, I can really tell that there was really good communication between Spielberg and his director of photography, Janusz Kaminski, who's worked on other Spielberg films like Schindler's List, Saving Private Ryan, many of his films. And that communication with them is very clear. I can tell watching this movie, and just like the camera seems to go exactly where both of them wanted to go. I know that sounds kind of weird, but in film, that's not always going to be the case, especially if you don't have good communication between the director and DP. Um, every single actor in this movie is incredible. Like no one does a bad job in this movie. I especially gotta applaud Meryl Streep. She, as amazing of an actress as she is, she hasn't been like the best that she could be. And she hasn't exactly been in the best films lately. I didn't love Devil Wears Prada, Iron Lady, August Osage County, Florence Foster Jenkins. I didn't love them. I thought, and it's been a while since she's been in a really good film. And while this isn't the best film that she's been in, her performance is like incredible. Like she will always be good, except in Mamma Mia. Ugh. But and the sequel's coming out. Oh my god. Okay. Let's just. I'll just yeah. Just back to Post. My favorite. I especially love the scene where she and Alison Brie, who plays her daughter. There's a scene where Meryl Streep's character, Catherine Graham, is talking about how she acquired this company and sort of just what she's going through. This is scene is somewhere in the third act, and Meryl Streep, Catherine Graham, starts to get like really emotional, and she starts to cry, and she's talking about all this hardship that she's going through, and like inner struggle on whether she should publish these Pentagon papers or not, and her daughter, played by Alison Brie, is comforting her. I thought that scene was really good, and both actresses do a great job. And my favorite shot in this movie, I won't say what happens because it is kind of a spoiler, but basically Streep is walking out of a courthouse, and by this like crowd of all these like college kids and hippies, and many of them are women, and all these women are looking at Meryl Streep, Catherine Graham, who at this point in the movie is feeling very powerful and proud. And this shot was just so great because I can tell that just like walking by all these women meant so much to Catherine Graham. I'm not sure if this like moment happened in real life or not, but it was a really great moment in the film. And I also have a feeling that Spielberg gave no direction to the female extras. He basically just told them to just stand there, and then as Streep was walking by, they didn't have to act. They were just looking at awe and her, being like, oh, Meryl Streep. So yeah, that was a really good moment. Um, the screenplay was great. I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe that one of the screenwriters for this film, Josh Singer, also wrote the film Spotlight, along with Tom McCarthy, and who also made films like The Station Agents, The Visitor, and directed a few episodes of 13 Reasons Why. And Spotlight was a really good film, and this film has really good writing as well. And also really good was John Williams' score. Just like Streep's films, a lot of John Williams' scores lately, his scores are never bad, but I just feel like they've been subpar compared to his previous work. But this score was really good, and it was really like powerful, and it really helped the tone of each scene. So overall, I really like this movie. I was going in with kind of low expectations because I think I saw it on IMDb. This film, it may be different now, but this film had like a 6.8 out of 10, which is really low for a Spielberg film. And so I went in like lowered my expectations, expecting it to be not that good, but it was actually really good. There are some flaws, mostly in that first act, but overall, I really like this movie, and I would give this film an 8.5 out of 10. And yeah, so another good Spielberg film. And oh, something I forgot to mention was something that kind of I admire about this film is how. So in case you don't know, Spielberg like made this film like really quickly. He sort of like rushed this film to be released in late 2017. Not just so much for not just he didn't really have to, and not just so much for the award season. And this film did get nominated for a couple Oscars, like I mentioned in my Oscar live reaction to the Oscars nomination video. But Spielberg rushed this film because it is kind of relevant today. In this film, President Nixon does try to like silence and shut down the posts and prevent them from what you might call it publishing the Pentagon papers. And it is kind of relevant to today, with President Donald Trump and his view and many of his supporters' view of the press today and the term fake news. It's kind of interesting how Spielberg like rushed this film and released it, later, when he could have taken his time and released it later, and it would have probably been a better film if he spent more time on it. But I kind of admire, or I find it interesting that he rushed the film so that it could be released late 2017, and so that a lot more people could see it and relate to it because of all that's been going on with Trump and fake news. So that's pretty much all my thoughts on this film. I highly recommend that you watch it. I have, like I mentioned before, I have a whole bunch of videos planned. Don't know when they're gonna come up because of school and it's starting to get like starting to get kind of busy. But I will like hopefully have those videos up soon. And yeah, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys around, or see you guys later. Bye.